What's he say? I get no respect. And we're live. Good morning, gang. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're live just. We're live just. Beta block. Okay. This morning's stream is going to be not one of those, steady work, productive streams. It's going to be, I've got some experimental work I have to do. That's not the best kind of thing for streaming because it means I've got to be here, maybe go and get that, maybe go and grab this. What I'm doing this morning is this. The printer on the next bench, Suga-san, she's been working on a batch of one of our most popular items in the catalog. The, designed by Ogata Korin, the ravens or whatever, crows in the moon. It's an adaptation. He originally designed this, we think, as maybe it was a screen painting or a bill, but we don't know. And in the end of Meiji, or maybe in Taisho, one of the print publishers in town, it might have been Nishinomiya, I don't know, because the things have no names on. This publisher took Korin's concept and made a simple woodblock print out of it. It wasn't a woodblock print in Korin's era. And what I did when I came along some years ago, I took that Taisho image and I adapted it myself even farther. I took this same concept and I just sketched it and traced it and changed it a little bit. And we made our own version of it. These are public domain images. There's no problem with stealing them or using them like this. These are images from hundreds of years ago, which you can adapt as you wish. If any of you see this and like it, you can make your own copy as well. There's no copyright in these sorts of things. Anyway, long story short. So some years ago, it's 15 years ago, so I made my own version of this. Published it myself in my Surimono albums. And we're using those same blocks here now for our Mokuhankan on a venture to make prints off and put into our shop. But, all of our printers, every one of our printers who has been trying this has had problems with it. They've had problems printing the background, the blue. They either get wood grain in it, or they get speckled color, or they get brush strokes or whatever. It looks dead easy, but it's actually very, very difficult. So what we did, this is going to be a step-by-step story. The first block that I carved for it was an apparently normal, neat, clean block, but it had actually fairly pronounced wood grain. And that's a problem with this. We want to kill the wood grain, but it's still quite pronounced. So what I did was I carved a second block. One of the faces of the set had been unused, so I carved a second block at an angle so that the wood grain on it wouldn't match the wood grain on the first block. And we've been printing this twice. We print fairly lighter blue once and a fairly lighter blue again. And the fact that the wood grain is in different directions means they sort of basically cover up and cancel each other out. On top of that, to help this situation, we've prepared a beta block, which is a block with no carving on it at all. It just extends the full width of the image of this. And this does two things. It helps prepare the paper and get it flat so that the blue will print smoothly. It also adds a tiny tone to the background so that the moon is not bright, simple, bare white like the outside edge paper, but it's got a bit of a tint on it. Anyway, as I said, they've been having real trouble, and they're convinced. Suga-san just says, this block set is no good. I can't print on these blocks she's given me. And I'm like, well, yes, you can. I made 200 copies of this back in the day, and let's do this. So she wants me to test it, make sure it's okay. So I've got a couple of sheets of paper in here, which I'll just be testing today to see what kind of results I myself get to it. But on top of that, rather than just waste my time on this, what I've done is I've put 4 sheets of paper in here, and 2 of them are the Corso paper, Sawaki-san's new paper, because it's a perfect chance for me to make a test of the paper. So I've got 4 sheets here, Iwano-san's paper and Sawaki-san's paper, and you can see the different colors. So for me, I don't care about testing these blocks. I know these blocks work. What I want to do this morning is find out how this paper prints. And this wide beta block is perfect for finding that out. So anyway, long story short, what I'm going to be doing is I've got a few colors, I've got a couple of blocks, I'm just going to be taking some test proofs. You're not going to see me go all the way to a finished print. We're not making something for sale here. I'm just testing this stuff. How does the block work? Does it work with our paste? How does the paper work? And partway along, I've got some photographs from the construction downstairs. Yesterday was Tuesday, our closing day. And I spent all day down there. All day, longer than I should have spent down there. And I've got some photographs of how it's going. It's going very, very slowly. But we do have some results. So it's a good chance, I'm fooling around this morning here today. It's a good chance if you've got questions and stuff, throw them into the question box. There's no concern about bothering me today because there's no steady stream of work that I get designed. That I get concentrating on. Is it my only print with a design from Quodian? Is this a quiz? Is this a test? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe so. I've got a few by Zeshin, which sometimes people confuse with Go-Got accordion. The construction downstairs, because the shop was closed yesterday, I was working down the first floor. I had the shutter open. It's starting to get a bit warmer now. Spring is coming. We can clearly feel it. There's a cherry tree on the street across from us. It's called a Junatsuzakura, which means October cherry. And it blossoms twice a year. It blossoms once really, really early in the end of February, beginning of March, and it blossoms again in October. And it's just starting right now to blossom out there, so it's become a real talking point for the street. All the tourists stop and look at this, and oh my God, it's cherry season here. You know. And it's right across the street from us. Have we considered making edible prints on chocolate wafers for Christmas? We have a plan, a long-term plan, which I've been thinking of for many, many years, to make some kind of snack item related to our work. There's just so much on my plate right now that I can't spend a lot of time on such a project, but we really do intend to do such a thing. It's perfect for Japanese culture. Japanese love to have that kind of, Japanese people need gifts. Whenever you go and visit somebody, you have to take a gift. So the snacks and cookies and little miniature cakes and stuff are a major, major item in this culture. And we would like to be part of that, but it's way. Yeah, barren cookies, so. But at the moment it's impossible. Is the water distilled? No, but what it is we have a water filter. Those of you who have been following our affairs for a few years know about a problem we had with a batch of the Great Wave prints. Was it 3 years ago? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? One of our printers had moved to a new workshop. And it turns out that the water tank in his apartment building had rust in it. So small dabs of oxide or whatever were coming into the prints and causing a problem. So we demanded that he get one of those filters on his tap to filter this stuff out. And our building also is very, very old. So we do the same thing here. We have a tap-based filter. I don't know what it's called. So the water isn't distilled. I don't think we need to go that far, but it is filtered. Aoyaki ne. So there's any number of ideas, ways to do this. What did I do with my brush? There it is. All right, let's see. Let's start this. For those of you who just came along, this is a test run today. No print, no edition printmaking today. I'm testing blocks and testing paper. So it's going to be a very scattered stream. Stop and start, stop and start. Try this, fool around with this. Okay, first up will be Iwanasan's paper, followed by a sheet of the Corso paper. Let's see. This isn't going to last long today here, my jumper also. Okay, not much for you to see. What we're looking at for at the moment is no hair, smooth impression, deep in. That paper we know works. This is paper from Ichibe Iwano, Living National Treasure. We've had problems with it in recent years, but it functions, it works for the most part. All our prints still, every single print we've ever sold here has gone on paper from Iwano-san. We're testing this new paper from Sawaki-san, but none of it has gone into production yet. So. What's this, Dave? Were you scared when you first chose to pursue an artistic occupation and create commissioned work? No, there was no single moment. This whole thing just came out evolution bit by bit by bit. I was making prints for a hobby. There was no really intention. It would have been an insane dream to have a print shop and be a printmaker and run a workshop. It would have been just an insane dream. I was making prints as a hobby. We came to Japan to learn a bit more about it and for family reasons. And just bit by bit it grew. Okay, this is Corso-kan. This is paper from Sawaki-san, our new maker. And it looks wonderful. But it's very, very, very different. Doesn't slide anywhere near as much. It's interesting. It's twisting. it doesn't take the same amount of pressure, you know, it won't stand up to it. It's twisting at the edges, which means obviously the part that I'm pressing is stretching a little bit, giving a buckling at the edges. Only a very tiny bit of pull up takes the color, but I'm really, really nervous about this twisting. Right, let's keep going. Next one is Iwano-san's paper again. Yeah, we're just playing at the moment with the new paper. I don't know, if you're just a latecomer to the thread, there's two things here. The girls have asked me to see if the blocks are okay for this print. They've had trouble. I seem to have lost the print. I don't know what to do with it. This is the print, the block set, and the girls have had trouble getting smooth blue background. And they've asked me to take at least a simple, quick run through the block set to see if there's no problems with it. And I'm convinced the blocks are okay, but whatever. They want to see a nice print from the hand of the master. You guys are talking about sumo wrestlers. This is a hard job too, you know. Want to try making 200 copies of this? Human printing press. Now, I'm supposed to be testing this new paper, which means trying different things instead of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Eh? So too much pressure buckles it. So we have to try a way to do this with less pressure. So maybe let's moisten this a bit more water. Increase the moisture. Yeah, somebody says we beat the hell out of this paper. It takes insane. That's a piece of wet paper, you know, and you saw what I was doing. You know, I'm not the biggest man in town, but full power across the back of that paper. And that's just one impression. This print needs beta 1, 2, 3, gradation 4. There's 4 full impressions across the surface of that paper. Switch to a lighter brown. Okay, it's no buckling this time. We've used lighter pressure, more water. And so far so good, but we'll see when it comes to a deeper color whether or not the color has a good depth or not. So, okay, there's our base tone. What I'm going to do, I'll put it out so you can see it. What I've been doing is, the paper was in the stack face down. Imagine these things are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. They were face down in the stack. As I pulled each one off, I put it on my bench here face up. number 1, then number 2 face up, number 3 face up, number 4 face up. So what we've got now is the 4 sheets of paper I just printed from bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, 4, they're face up. This is the way we normally do this. I now flip the stack over, and number 1 is now on the top, face down, ready to go. So that's the way we do all of our work. The paper is face down in front of me, ready to go. And when we're printing, say, 100 sheets, I don't put them back in the same. I put them over here on this thing. That's what this is for. So it's face down here, number 1, face down, pull it off, face up, number 1. Number 2 comes in, face down, number 2, over here, face up. We can see it, we can inspect it, we can check it. Then when you're finished, the whole thing gets flipped over and it's now face down, ready to go for the second color. So what you're seeing today is a miniature version of that process. Okay, let's get rid of that beta. Let's try one of the blue blocks. Blue, gray, gray, black, whatever it is, whatever you call it. Questions, questions, questions. The audio mix, the microphone is right there. It's a, what do you call it? Lavalier mic, but I've taken it off my body at the moment. It runs into the video camera. So it's picking up my voice right next to me here, and it's also right on top of the desk, which is good news, bad news, because as I bump things here, it picks it up. So. And there's no mixing in the audio, it's all just going into one, it goes into the camera, into the stream. Where are we now? What are we doing today? Testing new paper. So how does a lighter baron, what am I going to say in words? We've got, it's worth a stream in its own. We've got any number of these things. Just I've got 3 on my desk today in easy words. I know medium, light, weak, and strong. And the difference is the way the coil is wound. I know I don't have a picture to show you right now, but the inside coil is made of woven bamboo. And if you think of the number of dots, the bumps inside, a medium baron has bumps, a certain number of bumps per square centimeter. So it puts certain pressure on. The lighter baron has a smaller coil and many, many, many more bumps per square centimeter. So it doesn't actually attack each one strongly. The stronger baron has fewer bumps, larger, so there's fewer bumps per square centimeter, and they attack more vigorously. They also tend to leave lines. I've got 3 here on my desk here today, so I can use whatever one I feel is necessary. Yeah, baron stream, yes, so. No, there's no separation. Somebody's asking, do we put separation sheets between the prints? No. There's no damage at all. Nothing. They just go straight into each other. Here, I've got the stack. Okay? The ones I just printed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Directly against each other. Now, I gotta get some pigment ready. What do we got here? Étonné. This is some kind of blue-black. So what I've got here, again, I just stole from somebody else's bench here. I don't have my own stuff here, you know. So this is some blue pigment from Ishikawa-san's bench. I don't know what she was printing yesterday. Some yokai prints. Today she'll be here all day. She'll be printing Legendary Loot number 4. It's the April print. We're a month ahead of everybody. Okay, let's pick up some of this blue. And let's add black. When you get these pigments in the bowls, they all just basically end up looking black. You can't see what it is. So to find out what you've got in there, let me show this on stream. Just a piece of blank paper. If I swipe this on, it's still going to be too dark. So what you do is you just get the piece of paper and you touch it from the bottom. Chop. And then swipe it out with your finger, and it allows you to see the tint and the tone that you've got. And that might be the kind of tint we need for this. Let's have a go. Ink Thief, yes, Ink Thief. I don't have anything. Pigment Purloiner, interesting. So. Don't you guys have anything better to do? And I need a brush. I'll put this blue down, then we'll switch. We'll take a break and look at some of the slides, photographs from yesterday's work downstairs. But now what you're going to see next here is this. I'm going to put on a very light tint of this blue-gray. The finished print will be like this, something like this. This is I think she's done a bit too bluish. I like it a bit darker. But anyway, the finished print will have this kind of a depth. But what you're going to see right now is very, very much lighter, softer. It's going to come out something like this color here, because we're going on in multiple layers. There's going to be 1, 2, gradation, at least 3, and maybe 4. So rather than try and do this all in once, we build it up, build it up, build it up from smaller, lighter levels. You know, the Mr. Super Printer, the guys with the fabulous amounts of experience who are super powerful, they can look at it and lay it down in one pass. I can't do that, and our girls here certainly can't do that. So we layer things up. Got some loose brush hair here too, look at this. Okay, this is just copy paper, just to see what kind of a tint we've got. Well, there's our first color. That'll be the base tone. That's a bit too sticky, I think, too. What's the question? Very unscientific method of getting the color you want. Nothing scientific about this. It's all touch and what's the word? Just my choice. You know, so we don't measure. We don't keep records. I mean, last time, maybe when I made this print, what I used to make it, we don't even do that. We just make it each time fresh. And a friend of mine in America, Matt Brown, you know, he makes woodblock prints. Super, super interesting guy making interesting prints. But he makes an edition of prints. He'll put all the pigments in a little jar. He's got a wall full of jars for the particular print he made each one. So that when he makes more of the same edition, he can go back and make the same color. And we ourselves have a bit of a different viewpoint on this. One, we think it's our pride to be able to make the same color again. Whether we can or not, it's a different point. But it's our pride that we think we can. And second, we don't think it's so important to make the exact. We don't do like Pantone matching color number FT615. You know, we don't do that. They didn't do it in the old days, and we don't do it ourselves. The way that people are going to perceive these prints is going to destroy. If we tried to make prints to a certain exact color, it doesn't matter, because people are going to look at them under different lighting conditions anyway. The paper changes as it ages. There's no absolute here. Okay, here we go. The Ioannis on paper is on top. As I said, this is going to be a very light colored impression of this blue-gray. And the paper now is more moist than it was when I did the first impression 5 minutes ago. Level 1. So far so good. Fairly smooth. Touch of wood grain here and there, which we expect. That's what I said. We're going to use 2 blocks to kill that. And here going face up. It goes face up into the deck. Number 2, number 3, number 4 will go face up on top of it. Next up is Sawaki-san's paper, the one we stretched. Oh boy, lots of comments I'm missing here. I'm sorry, guys. Slide back a bit here. This is going to need a cover. Looking good, you know. Seems to be smooth take up all around, no problems. Let's have a look. We've got a bit of hair pull up. The fibers are starting to pull up, so I should reduce the stickiness of the paste. And it hasn't taken the pigment anywhere near the same body as with Iwano-san's paper. Eh? It's sort of white and patchy in places, hasn't taken up the pigment. Bit of fiber left over it. Yeah, I can pull it up. A bit of fiber left from his paper. Okay, back to the guano paper. Is George here this morning? George, hello, George Sellis. How's your how are your sales going? Can I ask? Is it public information or? It's okay. Don't say anything if you don't want to do. But are we talking about dozens or thousands? Are you ready to retire? This traditional paper, you can just brutalize it. It's incredible. It's a piece of wet paper. This is our second impression on it. We can go 3, 4, 5. It just doesn't stop. Here we go. Good. Looks good. You can see the grain lines. That's what's coming up here. That's why we're going to use a second block in a minute to try and kill some of those. And this is the competition. This is the standard that our new paper maker has got to be able to match. And so far, no go. I'm not sure what to do. As I said, the first one didn't show much pigment take-up, so let's dump more pigment on, reduce the paste because it was getting fiber pull-up, and increase the water. So let's not even put any new paste on. We've got some paste left over in the brush. Up the pigment, up the water, make it a bit of a more watery mix, and see how that changes things. I don't even know why I'm wiping. These are not going to be prints for sale. It doesn't make any difference. So somebody's got it there. So the old paper hasn't been consistent, and we're looking at the end of the line as he might be retiring. The new guy is trying to come online, but so far it's not the equivalent. Not as good. It's better to do this testing now than after the old guy retires, because at that point it's going to be chaos. There's no way. No, we can't. It's got to have a cover. A bit more bites, okay. We've been trying to keep optimistic about this, but it's quite possible this guy's paper just may not, at the end of the day, may not work. Whatever he tries and whatever we try. Well, that's better. That's better. Looking all right. Looking all right. I don't know if you can see. The Mac camera has a bit better color tone. Here we go. As I said, this is nowhere near deep enough. This is first impression. It's still a bit patchy. It's still got stripes from the wood grain. But that's looking better. And here we go again, as I said before. Face up. 1, 2, 3, 4 went face up. We now just take the whole stack, flip it over, so I will now have sheet number 1 face down, ready to go for the next impression. The next impression in a few minutes is going to be blue again, but on a different block, so it's got a different grain pattern. But a couple of things. One, I should warm up the block, and two, the paper should settle for a minute. So let's take a break, and look at some photographs. I've got some pictures that Cameron took downstairs. Actually, it's a mix. I was working downstairs most of the time by myself, so I couldn't take pictures of me doing it, but I took pictures of what I was doing. What happens if our new paper guy can't deliver the needed quality? Then we just keep looking. We keep looking. Yeah, someone's asking about this question, the many layers of thinner paper. I mean, at the moment, I can't say anything definitively because, it's all up in the air. It's all experimental. But the idea of making paper with multiple layers of thin laid up together is not unusual. And in fact, Iwano-san also makes paper that way to order. We have ordered it from him before that way. He will rock a number of times, dip in and rock a number of times, and layer the paper up again. So, I don't know. Everything is up and open. Cameron posted a great shot of the crane impression on IG Instagram. Okay. All right, let's have a look at some photographs downstairs. This is a bit chaotic. I know what I would like to do is prepare a slideshow that just goes time like this, but I took some pictures with my little camera, the digital camera. Cameron came and took some pictures with his. Aoyama-san took some pictures. They all dumped them into a single folder, and they all have those file names, D561257 or P652127. So these are not going to be in chronological order because it's from different cameras. But anyway, let's just look at some pictures. Here we are downstairs. Okay, this is the first floor. And a few things to note. This is really coming along. I know you can see in the very center of this picture, up on the roof, some black marks. And there's a track light over on the right. The previous tenant, the jeweler, had a track light on the left wall highlighting it, and the track light in the middle of the room for general illumination. And as it turns out, we want it the other way around. So we're pulling off the track lights, and anyway, we have to paint the roof anyway, so track lights have to come down. So we're moving the track lights to a different location, because the left wall that you see here will be behind the counter, and the right wall will be where the prints are. And anyway, here we are, of course, painting up on the roof. It's no fun, but someone's got to do it. And we certainly can't hire anybody else to do these jobs for us. So and that's me with the roller, and that's Aoyama-san, the guy who some of you know as Lee-san. He changed his name when he became Japanese this year. Okay, this was yesterday. I know this is a quick shot by Cameron. He came in while I was doing work with a router table. And you'll see, we'll get a couple of close-ups in a minute. You can see what I'm doing. To my left against the wall there's some 2x4s with some notches carved in them. And this is the construction of the main counter. And what I'm doing is, you can see behind me is my table saw that I made, and I'm working on the router table, which we also made, so whatever. Here we go. This is the homemade router table, and you can see we're notching. These are the things that will be the legs of the main counter. What it is the table. It's one of the gallery tables from the Takano Gallery in Shinjuku. They closed down, 10 years ago or so, and I had been a good customer of theirs. So when they closed, actually I was their last exhibition, just as it happens in the way of working things. So as I was packing up my stuff, they were hauling in people coming in to throw away all the furniture. They were ripping the walls down and throwing away the furniture. So the guy said, "You want some of the furniture?" So I took a few of the gallery tables and stands, and one of them here got converted to a router table. You can see it better here. So there's a huge Hitachi router mounted on the bottom, sticking up through, and I can adjust the height and stuff. So, okay, here we are. This is what I'm building. If you can see the plan there, the bottom right corner of this plan. This is the counter, the sales counter, seen from the back side where the staff will work. There's a space under it for bags and all that kind of stuff, and that's what you will see me building here. Well, that's a snapshot. That's going to be the print party room. The print party room at present is the place that was the old kitchen, and the ceiling is unbelievably filthy and dirty, and we can't just paint it. It's got all kinds of crap mounted into it. So we're going to cover the ceiling with a different hung ceiling if we can figure out how to do it. This is what will be the party room. And oh my God, it's not. This was the kitchen. You can see those tiles. We'll be removing the tiles on the left wall, covering them on the right wall, and we're going to rebuild the whole back wall. It's a huge extractor fan has to come out. And actually yesterday I asked Kawai-san to stand in place. Here, it's just a mock-up. He took a couple of our shoji screens from upstairs. So it's going to go in there like this. So we're going to make a Japanese room in there. There'll be tatami on the floor, a nice hung ceiling, print party bench on the left, and customer seating on the right. But it's a ton of work still to do. So. This, okay, if I go back one slide, see at the bottom right corner of this picture, there's a part of a wall, there's a green roll of green tape on. And you can see the edge of that thing is white painted. And what it was it's a nice wood under there. I scraped away one part of it. And it turns out there was 5 layers of paint on it. It's white, brown, green, white, I don't even know what they are. So I'd like to take it off. So I did. I put some paint stripper on, going through one, going through layer 2. These are all pictures, by the way, of the downstairs of this building. I'm sitting on the 3rd floor right now in our printer's room. You normally see me on the 2nd floor where our shop is, where our YouTube videos are made. And this is downstairs in the 1st floor. It was an old restaurant, then it was a jeweler shop, and now it's going to be a woodblock print shop. We've rented the whole building, 1, 2, 3. Leased, rented, somebody's, whatever. So here we're paint stripping here, and it comes off. It was mahogany underneath. Who the hell would have painted such a thing? It was beautiful, solid mahogany. And in fact, all in the 1st floor, all the doors and window frames and baseboards and stuff were all mahogany. But they've all been painted with, this one had 5 layers, and there's no way I can strip everything. It's just an insane, stunning amount of work. The front door is glass with painted around it, and it was mahogany, and now it's blue. But my God, I can't. We just don't have the time to sit here and strip everything. This took me hours just to do this one, 5 times with paint stripper, stripping off layer by layer by layer. I forgot to rotate that picture, I'm sorry. So. Okay, now, this is fun. This is outside, filthy, dirty mess. 18 years, the guy never did anything. He just set it up and let it run. It's filthy. He didn't even wash the shutter. And what we need to do here is, if you see above his name there, there's sort of a thing that sticks out on the building. It's sort of like a miniature false roof. And if I get a close-up picture, look at this. It's absolutely rotted away. We've never been able to touch it because it didn't belong to the 2nd floor. Blue and gray, that was his thing, blue and gray. And our problem is we want to take this thing off, but if you see, there's wires. This is the wires that run from the power company to the meter. And we can't muck with that stuff. So what we did was, here's the left side of it. See the hole? That's a rat entrance. This is where the rats come in and out of the building. And we haven't been able to fight back to the rats yet. We've just kept them in the ceiling, but now we're going to be able to fight back. Actually, this is an old photograph. A couple of days since this was taken, you see you can't see which is which. I mean, let me get some away here. It's not going to do that. I can't block the background. Anyway. So the wires are gone now, and one day Aoyama-san and I have to get a scaffold and get up there and rip all this stuff off. And somebody's asking, did we find a company to paint the shutters? There is a shutter painter here who we'd like to use, but he's way too expensive for us. We've been sending emails to different companies that do shutter, if I go back a picture here, the horizontal strips of the shutter. You can take your Photoshop file or Illustrator file, send it to them, and they send you back a bunch of strips that will glue onto the shutter. But we haven't found one that we can afford yet. They are asking a huge ton of money for this. Question, does the landlord, it's the landlady, does she have any responsibility? It's an interesting point. How much is her responsibility? How much is our responsibility? The building is aged. The building is coming to the end of its life. It's as old as I am, somewhere on there. It's 60, 65 years old. Immediate post-war construction, junky construction. It's at the end of life. It really doesn't have much left running on it. So there's no way that anybody would invest a bunch of money in structural stuff. We're going to do cosmetic stuff. You can see we're painting, we're plastering, we're putting cosmetic stuff in. But the building, it doesn't have many years left on it. So she's not going to invest a ton of money at all. And what we did was, when we first came here 3 years ago, we made a deal with her. She couldn't rent it because it was in too crappy condition. Anybody who wanted to rent it would have had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars fixing it up. So we told her, we'll do our own fixing up. You have to do nothing. But in return, we want a good, cheap rent. The negotiations went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she was in a bit of a jam because nobody would rent it because it was too crapped up. And she wasn't willing to spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix it up. So we got it, the second floor, and then the third floor, and now the first floor, at well below market rates. I'm not supposed to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you how much our rent is. Almost every day, people on the street come along and ask me. The deal with her is that she says, you can get this, but don't tell anybody what we're doing. But I can tell you, we got a good deal. We're paying very reasonable rent, but in return, this is what we have to do. Paint and rip and seal and plaster and do everything else. Okay, this is from the print party room, looking back out to the front. The boys are busy. You can see the track lights have been moved. That room on the right-hand side there, that'll be plastered later today. You can see the patchiness, all this. Oh, the toilet there. There's the toilet finished. I finally got the gyprock work done on the toilet. Here, back to my work yesterday. This is building the shop cabinet. You saw a photograph from a different camera with me on the router table. The router table work is finished. There's the 7 legs all standing up on the left-hand side with the joints cut into them. And now, lying on top of my table saw are the panels for the top, the shelf, and the base of the counter. Somebody's posting in very reasonable rate. We do. It's a bunch of things. She gives us a low rate because of the construction, but also this little old lady, she has a bunch of other buildings. She has lots of income from the other buildings. She doesn't specifically need to bleed this building dry. And she likes traditional woodblock prints. And she likes what we're doing with traditional printmaking. So it's a perfect storm in a good sense. We found just the right person with the empty building in the right location, in a junky situation, a junky condition, which we have the skill to put together. It's a perfect storm. If I had written this script in a movie or something, nobody would believe it. Come on, yeah, right there in Asakusa, on that street, at this rent, that little old lady who likes woodblock prints, tell me another story. But it's true. It's just working so well. And I said people are curious. I was sitting working yesterday with the shutter open yesterday, and a guy, as Mr. Suit, whatever, poked his nose in. Can I come in for a minute? I'm like, yeah, whatever. He comes in, and he's it's a city hall type or a gangster type or a real estate agent type. And he was a real estate agent. And he says, looks pretty nice. You're doing a really good job here. I know, got a good lease here? He's just poking for information. I'm like, yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing fine. And he says, looks around. He says, how much? I'm like I'm going to tell you, but whatever. And I just said, we're doing okay, whatever. And he wanders off. The real estate agents, they're just like sort of sharks. They wander around, they're looking for stuff, they're looking for a building to tear down and build up and just whatever. Let me get going here. Okay, there you are. There's the 7 uprights for the cabinet, all carefully trimmed on my router table. This is the extent of my cabinet making. I can't do much better than this, but I can get this far. Here we are. What I've done, to make sure, I'm not a beginner here, so to make sure these things are lined up, this is the top, the bottom, and the shelf unit of the cabinet, and I want those posts to line up. So I clamp everything together and draw. Here's the notches. This is the notch where those uprights are going to fit in. And it's all cut by hand. I don't have anything else. I can't do those on the table saw, of course, because this stuff's way too big. So there's one notch carved for a test, and one of the pieces put in as a test just to see if it's all going to fit. And it does indeed fit, so I went ahead and cut the rest. Here you are. There's the 3 pieces. The large one is the middle shelf. The other 2 are the top and bottom with all the notches carved here. I cut them by handsaw plus a jigsaw to take out the inside of the notch. And I got to confess, I made a mistake. Partway through, there's 3 pieces here, and I thought they were all 21 millimeters, but they're not. The piece for the middle shelf was 24 millimeters. So all my notches were cut 21. So no problem. Back to the router table and adjust the middle notches to be 24. And in fact, I'm partway through this. You can see behind me, the assembly's coming along. And there we are. There's the cabinet. Now this is the middle shelf with the uprights pounded into place. And at this point, there's no glue or screws yet. The way you build this thing with those notches, it comes up pretty nice and smooth and tight. It's lying on my table saw just for support. I can't remember what's the next picture. Here we are. Okay, yeah. Put it on. This is upside down with the base going in place, ready for screwing and gluing. I think maybe that might be it. I flip it over. Yeah, there we are. And here is the shell. It's not finished. There's no end panels. There's no wiring. There's no cupboards underneath. But this is the shell of what will be the counter. And there will be another piece on top of this. This is the shell. What I'm going to do is, as soon as we close our second floor shop, the bench, the piece of wood that is currently our print party bench, is going to be repurposed for the top of this counter. And there you go. That's the position in the shop. And as I said, it's not finished. There will be end panels, of course. There will be a fresh counter on top. There will be wood slats on the front. If you imagine, wood slats are going to be about maybe 6 centimeters wide. It will go along the front in a vertical orientation. There's a slight curve to this thing. And what we're going to do, what I think I'm going to do, Ayama-san says, no, no, no. And I say, yes, yes, yes. When I put the top counter on, I'm going to use the router to cut a little slot under the front overhang. And I want to put an LED strip light in there so that little lights shine down on the front of this counter. And he says it'll look schlocky. I don't know the Japanese word. But I'm going to try it anyway. I hear noise in the background. Mr. Cameron-san there?
What?
Cameron, is it?
Yep.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Just showing some of the slides, the pictures you took yesterday. So.
Oh, good.
Anyway, I had to mock it up. I had to try it. I brought down the iPad, which we use for a cash register, and put it on the counters. And the stool, just to check the size. So. Yeah, we talked about yesterday about the height, eh? Tall people, short people, whatever. And yeah, I've compromised. I know most of our customers, 99% of our customers are foreigners. So the people who stand in the shop at this counter, this is exactly 1 meter high. And with the top counter, it'll be 1 meter. It'll be 1 meter, 3 centimeters high. And on the inside, that'll be a little bit high for some of our staff, but they have the table inside that they can use at their own height to use to write the tax forms and do the cash box and stuff like that. So it's a double system. From the outside, there's only one height, a suitable height for most people, exactly 1 meter high. It's looking good, you know.
The counter.
There was a couple of screw-ups, as I've been mentioning on the phone, on the stream here. The 3 pieces, the top, the middle, and the bottom, I thought were all 21 millimeters. So I cut all those notches 21 millimeters. Then when I went to put it in the middle shelf, oops, it's 24. But luckily, it's a mistake the correct way round. You can make things bigger. you
Yes,
can make the slot bigger. So
uncut.
So the second mistake I made is when you and I, just before you left, we lifted it up there so I could start putting the legs in. My dad built a boat when I was a little kid. I was a teenager. My dad built a boat in the basement.
Okay.
And you know where the story's going, but he prepared. He knew we were going to have to take it up the stairs and into the backyard and put it in the boat trailer. So he built the boat in 3 pieces, all measured. It'll go up the stairs. It'll go outside, no problem. Yeah. But he screwed up a little bit, and the middle piece didn't quite fit through the door. So he had to rip the door jamb off. It was just like a half an inch or something. And my mother's going just crazy because it doesn't come up out of this thing. So same thing. When you build something, you got to think about, how am I going to move this around? How am I going to get out the door? How am I going to do this? Yeah. I didn't even think about that here. Didn't matter. You and I set it up randomly. I put it together last night. Yeah. And thought, okay, no problem. I'll turn it round, face the right location. It doesn't go because it's too wide. Because the other stuff, this is not a huge problem because it's in the way. The other cabinets are in the way.
Okay, so those are moved over.
Yes. But I didn't want to wait. So
what did you do?
I did it. I laid it on its back, stood it up on one end, rotated it that way, laid it down, and stood it up again by myself. I got a hernia.
You have to be careful.
It's okay. So it's something you want to do quickly, but you should wait for somebody else to come and help you and stuff like this.
But then you don't anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Questions, whatever. The LED lights, lights with hidden sources. It might be okay, but we'll see. As I said, Cameron, Aoyama-san thinks it's going to look a bit schlocky. You don't see stuff like that in the Apple store. And that's the kind of thing, whatever. What's the floor? People are asking. The floor at the moment is bare concrete. It's a tragic story. A month ago, Cameron's crying as well. It's partly The idea, it's a long story. I can't tell it again. Whatever. The previous tenant was supposed to gut the building and remove it right to the concrete. We wanted it to be left, but there was a bit of a miscommunication. We didn't know things were happening faster than we thought, and it turned out they ripped the floor out before we had a chance to stop them. Luckily, we stopped them before they ripped out the ceiling, because my God, that would have set us back a month or something. So anyway, the original floor has been ripped up and taken out, and we are going to put a new floor back in. It's okay. The original floor was pretty dark and gloomy, and I don't know. We were going to run with it, but no. Need some gilding on those wooden slats. Yeah, whatever. It's going to be there will be slats on the front of that thing. Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock. My God, I've done none of the work I'm supposed to do here. I think that's the last picture in the sequence. So it goes back to the beginning there. So I think that's it. That's all I've got for you at the moment on the downstairs aspect of things. And what I was supposed to be doing while I was doing that was to get my block warmed up, which I unfortunately didn't do. People ask, when is this going to be open? And I don't have a clue. I don't have an actual clue. We had originally thought we might be able to get it, if we work through February, through half of March, we might be able to get open by the middle of March, but that's not going to happen now. Today's the last day in February. It's still absolute chaos down there. All I can say is just it'll be open when it's open. I don't have any idea when. People are asking about light temperature. They are indeed. We are checking very, very carefully the light temperature. I haven't bought the LEDs yet. The lights you see, let me just go back there for a second. The lights you see on the ceiling here, this is left over from the jewelry guy. And it's a mix of 4,000K and 6,000K and 53,000, 5,300K. It's just a mix right now. We will be very carefully looking at the color of the lights that we prepare for our shop. So, and because of what we're selling, woodblock prints, which are, colors and paper and light and everything all over the place. We're going to, in the shop itself, we'll be going for a very average light. And rather than pick I forget the number, what's the average? 4,500K or something is about something close to daylight, close to average. But because of the paint on the walls and everything else, it's really, really difficult to get a natural, clean light. So we're going to go with a blend. We're going to mix various, on the main room track lights, we're going to blend them. Okay, back to work here. What we've got, we're going to run through, it's 9 o'clock. I've got time for one more run through at least on this. The 4 sheets of paper that have had 2 impressions. We're now going to give one more impression of the blue with a different block, a block that's carved exactly the same shape, but carved at a different angle. And it's a bit of extra work for the carvers, me in this case, but it doesn't matter. And we're going to print this thing twice anyway, so by having 2 blocks for it, so, yeah, somebody's just come along. Okay, it's carved at an angle. As I said, where's the first block? Here. So we're going to do the same thing. It's the same block, the same design, the same thing. This is carved once. It turned out when I first did it, the wood grain was a bit too pronounced and gave me a stripe effect on the print that I didn't want. So we prepared a second block, and also the wood grain is not only is the wood grain at an angle, we're angling it even more, so that these 2 wood grains will print at an angle to each other, and they should be almost invisible. Yeah, the printing room is even more difficult, The room I'm in right now, I've got natural light pouring in from the window. At the left, I've got a little funny LED thing here. We've got 2 major LED strips, and there's an incandescent in the middle of the room, which we don't have turned on right now. So that's something also we try to think of when we're printing. We try to work with a mix of light to give us a generic, what color temperature is this? I don't know. And when TV people come here, it drives them crazy because they have real trouble getting their white balance sorted out. But we've talked about this before. The prints we make are going all over the world to many different environments, people in all kinds of homes, all kinds of windows, all kinds of lights. We cannot control how people are going to look at our woodblock prints. So for me to obsess about this, we're going to make this set for 4250K, and that's the light you should use to look at my woodblock prints. Give me a break. It's not going to happen. So we don't bother. We just go for a generic lighting, common sense, everyday lighting. Where we would get in trouble is if I used some strong, 3500K yellow light or something. Then our prints would look funny in a different light. But by keeping a mix of light in our printing area, we're safe. But the cameramen, my God, they go crazy. The guy who came for that documentary, he and I had a real fight about it. He said, that's it, and we'll go and buy some new lights. And I said, no way. He wanted me to actually go out, take down a bunch of our lights, go out and buy new ones so that he could make his documentary. Sorry, guy, not going to happen. Jed-san, he asked you to get new lights and you did it? Are you kidding? It's a documentary. He's supposed to work with whatever he sees in his environment. This is okay. Look at this. We've canceled out our wood grain. This is still too light. But this is working. It's working. There's something else to mention here too, I know normally when we make prints, we make a batch of whatever, 50 or 100 or whatever it is we're doing. And the paper is all in there. And it stays in the same order, as I've explained a minute ago. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And for us, number 1 and number 2 and number 3 and whatever, these are test prints. We just get things organized and worked out. And then things get smooth. You don't talk while you're doing this. You just start number 1, test bit, dry bit, this will test number 2. And by the time you get to number 3, room, you're going. So for us in a batch of prints, number 1 and number 2 nearly always just get tossed aside. Here today, I'm only doing number 1 and number 2. This is so... Now, let's have a look at this. It's Corso paper. The next one up is Corso paper, and it was feathering. I put paste on. I think I should remove that paste, actually. I was too busy talking to you guys, didn't do what I was doing. So for Corso, we need a bit of a wetter impression and a bit more pigment. Let's try. So Jed's here. Good morning, Jed-san. Come on, documentary. There's a difference between a documentary and a movie, right? A documentary is supposed to be... you don't write a script for a documentary. And this guy knew the story he wanted to tell already. And I don't think that's what a documentary is. And I think that documentary about our work, I think, is much lesser quality than it should be. I think there's much more interesting stories here that could have been told that he didn't find. Because he came in with too strong of an idea about what he wanted already. But whatever, I can't talk about the same thing all the time. Just keep quiet. Hair's coming up. There's a hair somewhere on the brush here. There. Looking good. Okay. For me now, this is way too wet. If I think about if I was printing on Iwano-san's paper now, this is too wet. But if this is what Corso paper is going to need, let's try it. Let's see. This is that first sheet, the one that shrunk a bit, that stretched a bit. Gently, gently, gently. Oh, by the way, Cameron-san, are you there? He's gone downstairs.
I'm right here.
Oh yeah, did you see the print buddy schedule for today? We're full, totally full, and Audrey's not coming today.
Oh no.
So I'm on, me and Shiba-san. And there's a special late session. There's a late session starting at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
For 5 people. And the first one at 10 o'clock is 5 people.
Oh my goodness.
We're overbooked.
Wow. But we also have May coming in today.
Yeah, but she's just her second day on the job.
But at least she can be there to talk to people and see a little bit.
Well, maybe she can help us make coffee. I don't know. Yeah. She can't do anything else. She can't run the register. She can't do anything. There's a young girl starting as a trainee here. She started last week. It's her second day in the job today. We've got a full schedule of print parties. Five people coming at 10 o'clock, the next session 11 o'clock, then 2:30, then 5 people at 4 o'clock. One of our girls has booked off for the day, Audrey. I don't know where she's gone, but whatever. She's picked a nice day to do this. She's in Laos. Give me a break.
Southeast Asia a lot.
So I've been pulled in for party duty today, and we've got a new trainee who Audrey was supposed to be helping to train, but whatever. But this is looking good too. Look at this. It's actually nice and smooth. So there's going to be a way to do this. This is the thing. The girls have been testing this paper. They've been telling me, Dave, it doesn't work. But that's because they don't try different stuff. They just keep trying the same thing again and again that they've always been doing. And when it doesn't work, they're like, now what do I do? You try the same thing but expect a different result. It's not going to happen. You've got to do it different. Okay, where are we now? I've got to keep going here. Stream. Look at this. I'm sorry to miss half of what's going on here. I'm sorry. Yeah, the documentary, somebody says, this has kept me off it. I know, whatever, go and have a look at it. It's not a bad thing. It does show our work. Jed chats, it shows our work. My bitch with it is that, as I said, he had the story in mind before he came. Young Jed, older Dave, like a father and son, going to work together heroically to save the dying art of Japanese woodblock printmaking. And that's not what happened. Of course, our input has hugely helped this craft here. There's a bunch of people here working here now who wouldn't have jobs if we hadn't been doing this. So it's true as a skeleton of a thing, but it's just not that dramatic, whatever. Okay, what am I doing? Printing. Actually, I think I heard a question. Is there something in the back of my mind that says there was a question in the question box? There is. The question is, let's see, the scrolls in one. Somebody's given me a link here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, look at this. I'm going to put this link into the chat. This is the print that I saw X years ago and thought, hey, let's do this ourselves. This link is safe. Don't worry about it. You click. This is an older version. It says Meiji, early Taisho, whatever. I don't know. No idea. What's the question? The question is it faded colors or my pigment choices? Okay, it's both. What you're seeing is a print from, it'll be, 110, 120 years old. So yes, it will have faded a bit. The color will have toned a bit. The black and blue won't have faded. What you'll see here is what the printers chose to lay down. And actually, this is similar. If you see on the same page, there's a link to another one. I think that's my version. That could be one of mine. I'm not quite sure. No, it's not. It's got the red cartouche on it. It's not mine. Prints like this were just printed again and again over the years by publishers who didn't really tell their printers what to do. So each time printers would get a block, they would print it with whatever they thought was suitable. They'd look at the pigment that was left on the block or whatever. This one I've got in hand, this is Suga-san's work here. She's used a bit of a brighter blue. As I said, I didn't really like that. I thought it should be a bit darker and gloomier. But we give our printers enough leeway to play with this. I know. What's the version I made? The one that I published myself. If I can pop that up quickly. Where am I? Come on. I'm going to interfere with my Wi-Fi here. Completed albums. Where's my version? I see what you're doing with the party dates there, Cameron. Good guy. Thank you. Okay, that's another safe link. That's the version I made, I don't know, not 20 years ago, 18 or so years ago. What is it with birds? Yes, there's a couple of things. One is they make attractive woodblock prints, and two, these days in Mokuhankan, these birds sell. They pay our rent, they keep printers in business, they're beautiful, people like the results. What did I do? The bottom gradation? I don't even know at this point. I did a bottom gradation. That Meiji copy has what they've done in the Meiji copy, they tried to do a glow around the moon. Not so successfully, I think. There's a bit of a gradation at the right-hand side, a bit of a scratchy gradation at the bottom. They've tried to make the moon glow a bit more. Right, where am I? I've lost track of what I'm doing here. Next up is Iwano paper. So I need, what do I need? I don't even remember what I've put on the block here now. So much for highly scientific, rigorous testing. Okay. It's not, I gotta get downstairs. Holy crap, I gotta get downstairs. Clearly I have talked too much today and not tested enough, but whatever. Just let me get these last two blue impressions on. Actually, I'm happy because I'm finding out good results. This Corso paper, I'm thinking is going to work, you know. These girls are complaining, but I think it's going to work. This is number 3, so this is back to Iwano-san's paper. You want to do this all day? 200 copies? Waiter, there's a hair in my soup. This is okay. These girls are complaining about these blocks. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy with them whatsoever. This is going to print nicely. This is still copy number 1, 2, 3 on the stack. Face up. Now, this is Corso paper, so remember our new mix. Bit more water, no paste, bit more pigment. Let's see what happens. Chickens, Canada geese. How long have the current printers been printing for? It's a whole different. Suga-san, it's a real mix. She did 3 or 4 years at another workshop about 15 years ago. And then she was out for, what was it, 11, 12, 13 years or something. She was out, then came back when she heard through the network that we were looking for printers. So she's had a lot of experience, plus a big break. Ayumi-san, who's just left us, she had 5 years of experience here from zero. She's now gone having a baby. Ishikawa-san, who will be here in a few minutes over there, she started with us 5, 6 years ago from zero, and now she's doing all of our subscription prints. She's doing the whole Loot series this year by herself, single-handedly. She's kind of proud about that too, actually. She is, and if don't get angry at this, she is, quote, only a housewife type, quote. She's not a trained master craftsman, shokunin, whatever. And here she is, making woodblock prints at a professional level, handling professional work, making stuff that is being sold and going all over the world. She's really, really proud of herself. She didn't say so. She's just sitting here, but absolutely you can see the pride. And I don't have so much of an agenda that we're trying to push here. Maybe I do, I don't know, whatever. But when you think about this, we can take not the random person off the street, a young woman who thought she liked to try this. She's a housewife, she's got kids, she's got a dog, she's got a husband. Put her at the bench, show her what to do. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. It needs concentration and thinking and a bit of muscle. this idea that this is work for Japanese masters and people sitting on top of this mountain and please climb and bullshit. It's just peaceful, comfortable work. I'm not going to say anybody could do it, because we've had people in here who just didn't really have a feel for it. But it's not unreachable, you know. Anybody with a bit of, they can do things with their hands and stuff, you know. We are getting there. We are getting there. I don't know what they're complaining about. Again, this is not perfect. This is still just the second one off the block, but we have got the basics of a good, nice, rich background here. In it goes. Okay, what we're going to do, it's now 9:21. I have a print party with 5 people coming at 10. I got to get down there and get the shop organized because I'm the main host today. So I'm going to have to leave this right now. And what we're going to do is, today's Wednesday, tomorrow morning, Thursday, back here, same time, same station, I will do the rest of the impressions on this block. There's the crows, there's the background tree thing, there's the moon. And maybe I'll even pop a few other sheets in so I can do a bit more testing. So tomorrow we will continue this same time, same station here. What's the question? What makes it imperfect? I'm not sure what I said or what you're asking. I'm sorry. Gotta go. Okay, gang. So sorry for the mixed and not steady, beautiful, steady printmaking work here today. It's, as I said, this is what happens in my life sometimes. There's all these different things that have to get done. I don't think I'll have any new photographs from downstairs to show you. Oh, I might do, because Aoyama-san today will be down there plastering that long wall. So it might be a nice picture or two tomorrow to put in. So tomorrow's stream will probably be pretty much just like this. I will be continuing the testing on these blocks and on this Corso paper, maybe mixed with a picture or two from downstairs. More than that, I can't say at the moment. Thanks very much, and hopefully there's been something here that maybe you found interesting. I don't know. Who knows? Signing off. See you again tomorrow. Thank you. Let's go. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Oh, I better put something up. So the picture that Twitch uses, if I do it like this, Twitch will show this picture as the last. Right, bye-bye for now.